So I'm out here on the water doing a test today. I am using fresh dead mullet versus frozen mullet. Now this is fresh dead mullet that I picked up from a bait shop. These were the floaters, I guess you can say, that were in the bait tank, and I picked those up, put them on ice. And then we have some frozen mullet that's a little older, completely frozen. As you can see, it's pretty firm. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast these out in this area that I'm at. I'm seeing some really nice bigger redfish around this area, so what I want to do is basically put these baits out pretty close to each other and see which one gets picked up first. Is it going to be the fresh dead mullet or the frozen mullet? Now I'm going to have them both rigged up the same way. I've got 5/0 circle hooks and I'm just free lining them, no weight or anything because I'm fishing pretty shallow. This is a shallow flat, so we're going to cast both of these out and hopefully we get a hookup. Now the way I'm going to rig up the fresh dead mullet, I'm just going to cut the tail off. Actually, I'm going to cut a little close to the belly, just above that anal fin there. We're going to cut that out, then just throw that in the water, extra chum, and then I'm going to cut a slit in the belly here, like so. Almost butterfly this bait. So just cut a slit in that belly, and that will help release scent into the water. And I'm going to rig this up very simple, just right through the eyes. Right through the eye, up out through the head. And that's it for the fresh mullet. Then for the frozen mullet, I'm going to take the hook, go through the meat, and then out through the skin. Try to get a good amount of meat on there. And once you get the hook through, make sure you take that scale off of the hook so it doesn't get stuck on there and act as a hook guard. Don't want to miss any fish. And that's how it's going to be rigged up. Now the frozen mullet, as you can see, we'll go ahead and show you the rod it's on. Frozen mullet is on the cork handle rod, and then the fresh mullet is going to be on the black handle rod. Now when you cast these baits out, you don't want to cast them as if you're casting, a lure. You just have to lob them out there. I have the wind at my back, so the wind is going down. That way, the scent can travel down this flat, get the attention of those fish. So we'll cast this one out first. Again, just lobbing it out there, using the wind to get it out. Nice long cast. And I'll set the drag a little bit here. I want it somewhat loose because I'm going to set the rod in the rod holder and then go from there. And then we'll cast out our frozen bait. This one I'm going to cast out a little towards this direction. Little to the left of where I just cast that one. Bigger frozen mullet is nice because it's heavier, so it casts nice and far. Then we will let these sit, see if we get a nice big red to pick these up, see which one they like best. Fish on, cut mullet. So here was the first hookup. This was on the rod with the black handle. As you can see here, this was a different rod because that first bait I set out did actually get sharked pretty quickly. So just brought back a leader and my line, no hook, no bait. So I quickly switched over to a different rod that was already rigged up and sent a new bait out. But as you can see here, I'm reeling in that one that had the frozen bait on, and you can see the frozen bait was actually gone. That's one downfall about frozen bait, is that when it thaws out, it gets very mushy and it can fall off and get picked off very quickly. But first fish was a really nice red on the fresh cut mullet. That's a big red. Wow. So this red was on the fresh dead mullet. The frozen mullet, I went to reel it in while I hooked into this fish and it was gone. So that just goes to show frozen mullet will fall off quicker than fresh mullet. Only got 10-pound braid on here, so I'm finessing this fish. So it's 1 on fresh mullet, 0 on frozen. Whew. Monster red. Wow. So again, this big red took that fairly small piece of fresh cut mullet, as you can see there. That was that fresh dead mullet that I put on ice that I got from the bait shop. And next up, you'll see the catch that was caught on the frozen mullet. Got some rod bending action going on over here on the frozen mullet. Loosen that drag a little more. Oh, there. Might be a catfish messing with it. It's on the run, whatever it is. There's some weight on there. Got a fish on. Not sure what, but let's see what we got here. Maybe a catfish. Yep. Catfish is gonna break my rod. Big old stinky sail cat. So big red on the fresh mullet, big stinky sail cat on the frozen mullet. Kind of makes sense. Sail cats love that frozen stinky stuff. So even though we caught something, fresh still wins right now in my book. So as you saw, the fresh mullet caught a really nice red and the frozen mullet caught a sail cat. Now I've been fishing with both frozen and fresh mullet for quite some time now and have noticed this trend when it comes to the type of species that get caught depending on fresh versus frozen, and wanted to share that with you with video proof. Now, when it comes to scent, old frozen mullet, it sort of puts off a smell of decay and decomposition that those scavenger fish pick up on, you know, catfish, stingrays, things like that, and typically dial in on it faster than predatory fish such as redfish. And this actually brings up a scientific approach to fishing, you know, knowing your target species and how they behave and feed. We actually have a free ebook online right now that discusses 3 scientific based approaches at fishing that can help you start catching more fish. If you're interested in that, be sure to check out the free book at saltstrong.com or click the link down below. And if you have any questions or comments, be sure to drop them down below as well.